Could your holiday use a little extra? A bit more? Or maybe a whole lot of... Add some extra to your holiday gatherings when you add ice-cold Coke to your cart. Coca-Cola. Real magic. Copyright 2023. The Coca-Cola Company.
Zicam knows that when you live life to the fullest, you never want to let a cold slow you down. With Zicam's cold shortening products, you can actually shorten colds when taken at the first sign. And with the winter chill in the air, you need the #1 cold shortening brand to help shorten a cold when taken at the first sign this season. Because you should never let a cold stop you from missing out on your favorite moments of the season. Find Zicam in your local cold and flu aisle.
Times of old, in times of new, there's a guide to follow to make it true. It's the pop culture field, and you will.
What we're going to talk about today on the Pop Culture Field Manual podcast is dinosaurs. Izzy, tell me about dinosaurs.
Let's be honest, folks. Dinosaurs are awesome. I think it's become more and more evident ever since... dinosaurs have been in pop culture for, obviously, just about 100 years since the days of the stop motion King Kong, where he fights the dinosaur,
Yeah.
We've been fascinated with them, right? These giant beasts that lived in ancient times, when the world was young. And then now with movies like Jurassic Park and, a bunch of other stuff. Jurassic Park I think is one of the most well-known examples, but like how would we interact if we were like in the same world as the dinosaurs, and what there's a lot of speculation around like what did they look like, what did they sound like, and so it's this fascinating thing, man, and it just hasn't stopped. Obviously not with the Jurassic Park and Jurassic World franchises, but there's a lot of stuff. We'll talk about it today, some cartoons that I grew up watching. And it's just kind of captured the imaginations of people for a long time. So that's what we're going to talk about today, folks. We're going to talk about dino hunters. We're going to talk about dinosaurs in general, and then specifically some of our favorite pieces of pop culture, where it is basically man versus dinosaur. Did you grow up? I knew you grew up. You loved Lord of the Rings. You loved Warhammer or World of Warcraft. You ninja stuff? You were a dancer. Did dinosaurs, were they in there somewhere for you when you were a kid?
I'm trying to recall. Let's see. Let's take a trip down memory lane in my mind really quick. I was never like that kid who had like this obsession with dinosaurs. I knew that they were there. Like I had some toys about dinosaurs, but they were always whatever to me, Yeah, I was like, to me, they existed. They're not fantasy. They were like, okay, no, they're nonfiction. They were real. Mm-hmm. And I've always been more, I guess, appealed and attracted to like the fantasy genre. So growing up, I know I had a couple like dinosaur toys and whatnot, and like obviously enjoyed my time at the Natural History Museum where you could see them, today as they are in bone form.
Yeah, right.
I wasn't like super obsessed with like anything, especially pop culture. Like I liked Jurassic Park, and I think we're going to start out by going in on Jurassic Park.
Oh yeah,
because this is a dinosaur podcast now, so you can't talk about dinos without Jurassic Park. But like, big fan of the movie, but wasn't like one of those dudes who just decided to buy a Jeep afterwards and wrap it in the Jurassic Park memorabilia and all that
around LA.
Yeah, and my buddy Greg, he's one of those guys.
Oh, that's right, Greg. We should talk about him, man, because Greg Wong, he has made 2 fan films based in Jurassic Park.
Yeah, and we spent some time with him, and he like showed us his fan film. It's called Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom fan film. and it's about the Jurassic World Exodus full movie, and he did like this 25-minute fan film, and it's actually and Granthum's in it, Travis
Yep.
Haley's in it,
Sales in it. Yeah, you got the
and
whole
like
tactical
it's
community in on it.
yeah, they like filmed it in Hawaii, and like it's actually kind of good, you know?
Yeah, it's got there's some good parts to it. Like you could tell it was a labor of love. It was very ambitious for what it was. And I
Yeah,
think he tried to marry the like how would tactical people or people with a military background actually react to these situations and how would they
yeah.
plan it out and execute?
Yeah, and that's pretty much what it happened. It like what's the task force that they use to that they used to contain the dinosaurs in like Jurassic World. Um
Yeah, right. I
if
forget the name of it, but yeah.
I'm gonna do a quick let's see, InGen Security Division, right?
InGen. That's right.
Yeah, so like I like in Jurassic World, which Chris doesn't want us to talk about because he says anything after Jurassic Park 2 was a waste of time. But actually, I'll be honest, sorry Chris, but I enjoyed Jurassic World. Like the other two were just like okay, now I realize like they're just trying to keep this genre alive
Yeah.
and like this
Yeah.
film this film genre alive, which sometimes isn't the right answer.
Yeah,
But it
they
is.
just gotta retain the rights, so they gotta do something with the property, otherwise it reverts
Yeah.
back to
Like
whoever,
they
you know?
yeah, they're just trying to make money off of it.
Yeah.
But it's not like, something that people like super get behind, but it's something you take your kids to watch and whatnot. But like in Jurassic World, they really introduced like the InGen security division when like they go to hunt that new species that they created in the lab, and it just
Yeah.
completely decimates them. So I think Greg's fan film was like from a perspective of like them utilizing the InGen security division more as like an autonomous, force, which I
Yeah.
thought was a really cool. I think it's a cool concept. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's a cool concept. I appreciate the amount of work that went into it. Let's go back to the original though.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park,
Absolutely.
1993. It's so funny. This movie has a special place in my heart because it's one of the first movies I saw after I moved to Colorado Springs, Colorado. That was like a big move for me because I was in California with my dad, and my brother. Our dad moved us up to Colorado. It was like a big deal. It was just the three of us. And then once we got settled in and found my dad found an apartment kind of right near the Chapel Hills Mall there in Colorado Springs. And this was one of the first movies we saw in 1993 when we were living in there. Man, it just blew me away. That was like one of those earth-shattering blockbuster events. It's so good. It's one of Steven Spielberg's, better than Schindler's List.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you like back in 93,
Just kidding about
93, yeah. I feel like in the 90s, like CGI and like CGI wasn't like what we have today, where you can
Yeah.
have such amazing integration of like things that don't exist that you can put
Yep.
in the movies. So like back then, practical effects was it like
Yeah.
animatronics and practical effects.
Stop motion has still had a place
Yeah.
in entertainment. RoboCop and those kinds of movies still used it. It was James Cameron, like I think it was 92, T2, Terminator 2 came out. There was a little bit of CGI in there, and then this one, they had both, right? They had CGI and giant, big practical puppets, in Jurassic Park. But
Yeah.
it kind of brought it into the modern age because it still looks good today.
Oh yeah, it still looks fantastic. Like it's hard to like compare that movie to like the newer ones because like it looks more authentic, it looks more real.
Yeah.
Heartbreaking day for me was when Universal Studios decided to like update the Jurassic Park ride.
Oh,
Like you
yeah.
know how they had like that water ride.
Yeah.
And it used to be so good. And then when
Yeah.
Jurassic World came out, they like replaced everything. And the pinnacle of this ride was like you basically are in this boat, and you're kind of going through this like this nature preserve. You're going through Jurassic Park
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
And there's like, long neck dinosaurs, and like the Stegosaurus is like in the water, and it's like it's all animatronics, and it
Yeah.
looks awesome. And then you realize like Jurassic Park is being, something happened. There's a security breach, and like the velociraptors were like running around. You see all them, and they're breaking apart, and then you just go up this ramp into like this lab. And
Yeah.
like you can see like the velociraptors are all there and whatnot. And they're like spraying air at you and whatnot. And right
Yeah.
before you get to the top, there's this ginormous drop that you go down, and like this Tyrannosaurus Rex head like comes out and looks like it's about to bite your ship or bite your boat in half, and then immediately you drop down into like the drop, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah, I remember. I remember
it
that, man.
was freaking sweet. Actually, funny story about that ride. I got to go to like this after party because Stan Bush, shout out Stan Bush, the singer of our intro. Uh, after he does these bot cons, which are the Transformer conventions,
Right on.
and
Yeah.
he would always play the after parties. So like my dad was his guitarist, so he would always get his kids in, and we get to go to the after parties. And one of the I went to two of them, and one of them was at Paramount Lot like afterwards, which was super cool. But the second one I went to, they rented out Universal Studios, so it was completely empty. And
Whoa.
yeah, and it was completely empty, and there was maybe like 300 people there. So like all the
Oh,
rides were working and everything, but there was 0 people there.
oh,
So
that's
it
awesome.
was a super cool experience. And like I remember it was my sister and Stan's son. And we all went to Jurassic Park, and it was at nighttime, and we each got our own boat. That's how empty it was.
Oh, that's great, man.
Turned out to be a terrifying experience because like
How old were
you know,
you?
oh, I was probably 16, 17, but
Oh,
still
okay.
like
Okay.
yeah, but still you're like the boats aren't next to each other. You can't turn around and be like, "Hey, you doing okay?" I was like by myself going through Jurassic Park.
Whoa,
So like I had to
man.
deal with all like the velociraptors and all the T-Rex like alone, which was just this morbid feeling because it was, and that's how well it was. And then they changed the entire thing to be like Jurassic World themed, and they
Yeah. Have you
replaced.
been in it since then?
I have. They were like replaced a lot of the stuff, and they added some like they added more of the characters from the movies instead of just having the dinosaurs like highlight it. Like
Huh.
they have it's not like it's what's it? A hologram. They like add a lot of hologram type of stuff to like see
Oh,
the
like,
actual characters from the movies like in the
okay.
ride, which makes it a little more cheesier. It takes it away
Huh.
from the dinosaurs and makes it more character driven.
Hmm.
And then the last like the last Tyrannosaurus at the end, it's not a T-Rex anymore. It's like the new dinosaur
Super
that
mega ultrasaur
yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever. Yeah.
yeah, and it just doesn't do it for me anymore.
That's too bad, man. They did that. They've done a lot of that. They've gotten rid of a lot of the animatronics. Like I'm just thinking specifically at Disneyland of the submarine ride. It's like the Nemo ride, and
Yeah.
you don't see outside. It's just projection screens that are over the top of the portals. So it
Oh,
looks like there's
same.
things swimming out of there. Yeah. But like it used to be like there were like actresses, I think they used to have that were like had breathe tubes. They look like mermaids. You could actually see out into the water, you know?
Yeah, I know which one you're
Um,
talking about.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
right
it's
next
all
to
digital.
yeah, right next to my favorite ride, Autopia. Have you
Oh,
ever
Autopia. Oh, the
Autotopia?
with cars?
Yeah, with the cars, you literally sit in a line and you get your own car and you get to drive it, and then at the end you literally get to experience LA traffic and like yeah. This is so totally a side note from dinosaurs, but I remember I was like super excited because I was with my fiance at Disneyland, and I was like, "We're gonna go on Autotopia," and this is literally my favorite ride in this entire park. And she didn't get the hype, and like, you get to drive around, but you don't get to go super fast, and there's little kids like rear-ending you and everything. And at the end, you're like waiting to get off because people like take your car, and then you basically switch carts. So like at the
Uh-huh.
end, it just piles up and like you're literally sitting in traffic for like 20 minutes. And after I was done, I was like, "Did you have fun?" And she's like, "We literally waited like an hour to sit in traffic." And she's like, "That's your favorite ride?" And I was like, I
Uh,
remember it a lot more exciting when you're a kid without a driver's license.
it's true. That's often the case. Did you like Jurassic Park 2, The Lost World? Like where Jeff
Um,
Goldblum was more like the main character and it had Vince Vaughn in it too.
really? Is
Yeah,
that
remember.
the one that they yeah, Goldblum's more of a character. I mean, I like Jeff Goldblum. I think he's hilarious.
Yeah, he was great. Yeah.
Yeah, he was great in the original, and then obviously he's in Lost World too,
Hmm.
like towards the end, which I appreciated them bringing everyone. What's the most recent one? Uh,
Oh, Dominion, Jurassic
yeah,
World Dominion. Was he
well,
even in it for very long?
he
Or was
was
he
in
just like
it
in
at
for
the
like
end, I
oh,
think,
okay,
more at the
okay.
end. But I enjoy that they literally brought back the entire cast from the original Jurassic Park. So
Mm.
that was nostalgic. Sorry, Chris, I enjoyed that. Um, But yeah, the second Jurassic Park, that's the one where they're like they have like the mobile research
Yeah.
labs, right?
The
Okay.
trailers, the
Yeah,
twin
the
trailers that
trailers.
go over the
Yeah.
side of the cliff. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I, I
Yeah.
I enjoyed that one too. I thought it was almost as good as the original. Um,
Yeah. They kind of lost me a little bit when they got back to civilization and it's the T-Rex running around downtown San Diego or
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it can't all be red letter days. They can't all be winners.
Yeah. But yeah, what did you think about Jurassic Park 2?
I remember liking it at the time. It's so funny to see Vince Vaughn in he's like this saboteur. He's like the guy that the main dude sends in to make sure that they don't get a hold of the dinosaurs, that they, because they're trying to bring them off the second island because they want to research them, and John Hammond doesn't want that to happen. So Vince Vaughn's like the plant, and Julianne Moore, she's in it, and Julianne Moore's a great actress, but this is more like kind of an action role for her. I remember being a little cheesy, when they have his daughter and they keep plugging that she does gymnastics and all that kind of stuff. And then basically that culminates in her doing like the parallel bar routine and kicking the velociraptor through the wall. She spins around on the bars and then kicks it. And it's that's a little cheesy. Even when I was 16 years old, that was super cheesy.
Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, gymnastics versus a dinosaur, let's be realistic here.
You really got to you really got to turn your head sideways and squint to make that one work,
Yeah. But the one thing, and also one of the hardest dinosaurs to spell, the pterodactyl, you wouldn't imagine them to be super terrifying, but Jurassic Park, I think, does a really good job of I think my example to it is everyone sees animals as these cute, cuddly things, right?
Right.
Real world example, when people go to Yosemite, the tourists, and they have the buffaloes out there and, all the moose and all that stuff. People are so dumb and they don't see them as a threat, even though they're those can kill you. And people will go up and try to take a selfie with them. And, that's terrible. But I think the same thing goes to if Jurassic Park actually existed today, we'd have a lot of problems. We'd have a lot of deaths.
Yes.
Because people are oh, pterodactyls, they just fly. That's it. That's cool. But no, in Jurassic Park, they destroy you a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. They were big in the third one, which it was not the best, but Sam Neill came back for that one. But the pterodactyls were huge antagonists in Jurassic Park 3.
Yeah, with the whole bird cage thing.
Yeah, the aviary or whatever they call it. But Jurassic Park, a franchise that will probably not go extinct anytime soon. They keep I've had to really reach for that one, but so who knows? They do all seem to make money. I don't know if they're not making as much money, but you get that China market in there, man. Those Chinese, they love their dinosaurs. So you get that big chunk of it's still making money. So who knows what terrible derivative stuff they will, because it's basically the same story, right? Jurassic Park perfectly encapsulated kind of the disaster that would occur. Like you said, if we brought dinosaurs back, try to put them in the same world as us, there would be so many deaths if we actually had a Jurassic Park. And everything else since then has been basically the same story. It's a bad idea,
Yeah, they got away with it. They got away with 3 of the movies being oh, something's gonna go wrong and these beasts are gonna kill us. And then Jurassic World came out and they made the same movie.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you try to open this thing and people, don't pay attention to rules because everyone thinks they're above them, and then people die. There you go. That's at least another 6 plots right there.
That's right, man. This stuff writes itself, man.
Yeah, it's easy. But I think that's all we could talk about Jurassic Park. It's been a good 15-minute chunk just on Jurassic, but that's perfectly okay. But there's more about
there's so
dinosaurs.
Much more.
Yeah. So is this your idea? What is a sound of thunder?
Well, a sound of thunder, there's multiple answers to this question, Cameron. It depends on your perspective in life. A sound of thunder was a Ray Bradbury short story originally.
Okay.
And it was basically the short version of the short story is there's this tourist thing where they have time travel and you go in there and you can basically, experience the ancient time, primordial times, right?
Yeah.
And it's like a hunting trip, right? And they have all these procedures in place because obviously it's the butterfly effect, where if you do something in the past, if you change something, well, that'll have a ripple effect on into the present time. Will change everything, right?
Yeah.
Because it's all connected. There's like a delicate balance of nature. So in the short story, the tourists, they time travel back and they're having a good time. And then all of a sudden the T-Rex shows up and the guy freaks out and he steps off of this kind of elevated path, this levitating path. And they have to escape and get out of there. And then what they realize is that when he stepped off that path, he stepped on a butterfly. And that butterfly, that one little event, they go back to the present and like there's all these things that are different. And A Sound of Thunder, it's the roar of the T-Rex. And then at the end, when the head hunter guy realizes that this tourist, this idiot, changed the whole universe, because of his stupid mistake. It's like the shotgun. He like cocks the shotgun and said the last line is, "There was a sound of thunder." Like he shoots the guy. And then A Sound of Thunder is also a really, 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 really bad 2005 movie starring Ben Kingsley, Sir Ben Kingsley. And it's got some of the worst special effects imaginable. And we're talking 2005. This is after Jurassic Park has come out. This is after a bunch of other movies. The Matrix has been out at this time. And then, I don't know, I guess they got a kid in his basement to do all the special effects because they're so bad. They're laughably bad. This goes into like, this movie goes into so bad it's entertaining territory. Like it's
Sure.
that bad. But all that to say, A Sound of Thunder is an awesomely bad movie. To save yourself about an hour and a half worth of time and just read the short story. It takes about 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, half an hour if you're slow at reading. But it's a really cool concept that is like perfectly encapsulated. Ray Bradbury, one of the all-time great sci-fi writers of our age. Don't see the movie. I mean, unless you want to like get drunk or high with your friends and make fun of it. Like it's that bad. It's really bad.
Okay. Well, just because you said that, looks like I'm going to be wasting an hour and a half of my time.
No. Okay, don't say I didn't warn you, Cameron. Something tells me that you'll find some way to like it.
Okay. I will. If it's so bad it's good, I probably will enjoy it.
Chris put a little note in here. The CGI looks like it was done with a Palm Pilot. Some of you don't even know what that means.
I have no idea. What is a Palm Pilot?
Let's see, like an early precursor to the iPhone. It was like a little, a digital assistant kind of thing. You can make notes and all that kind of stuff. Palm Pilot.
Oh my God. Look at this thing.
It's like, I even think it was, I don't know if it was parallel to the BlackBerry or later than the BlackBerry.
Yeah, they came out in 97. They have like a stylus and wow, look at that. Yeah, the CGI must be great then if it was made on that thing.
Yeah. But I'm not even going to bother giving you a synopsis because why bother? Because you're not going to go see it. Please don't go see it.
I'm probably going to go see it. But okay, speaking of like movies that had like really good CGI, but just like weren't it for me, was 65.
Did you see it?
Yeah, I did see 65 with Adam Driver.
Yeah.
And pretty much for those of you that haven't, 65, it came out in 2023, so it came out this year, so like it's brand new. It stars Adam Driver, and he basically crashes on Earth 65 million years ago, and then he like finds this like native girl that also her parents like crashed, I guess, on there, and he like they speak a completely different language, and like it's just this sci-fi dino like survival movie, and it's kind of boring. I'll be honest. It's like
the problem with this one is that it's 65 is coming. It's the original writers of A Quiet Place, right?
Yeah.
Like this is our project. This is something we want to do. And so it's a real simple story. It's like almost like a father-daughter. It's a paternal kind of thing. And there's some backstory to Adam Driver's character. She's on the same ship, I think, and he didn't realize, the ship crashes. I think they get caught in a meteor storm or whatever. I don't even remember. But the problem with this movie for me was that it's coming at a time when we have seen so many dinosaur movies that you have to find, you just got to really bring it when it comes to the action, the kind of creativity and the storytelling, And Adam Driver's an amazing actor. I think he
Yeah.
can carry a film. It's just, I don't know. I'm having a hard time putting my finger on why I didn't like it so much. I don't know. Yeah, it's just for some reason the action was just not as engaging, and the
Yeah.
dinosaurs
It just didn't wow me, you know?
yeah, it was just
Yeah.
yeah, and you got to, because it's like, really, dinosaurs? Like, I know that dinosaurs are always awesome, but we've seen so many dinosaur movies at this point. You just have to find a new way to bring it. And I don't think they quite did that.
Yeah. Plus, like, the action, like, he's supposed to be like a trained soldier, and like he just doesn't put in work, you know? I feel like if I was in, and this is just talking up my, like, this is just me being an egotistical maniac, but I feel like, you know, with the tech that he had like some really sci-fi weapons. Like, he doesn't put in work at all as like a trained like fighter. He just kind of like, you know, gets messed up by these dinosaurs that he has like ample time to like totally destroy with this rifle. Because like it wasn't like, you know, he shoots them a billion times and they don't die. Like, he shoots them once, they're dead. And like he
Yeah.
just misses a lot. But yeah, I mean, Adam Driver, he's a great actor. He's also a Marine Corps veteran. It's probably why he missed a lot. But not, just joking.
Oh, man.
But yeah, I think you hit it on the head, where it's just like, okay, we've seen dinosaurs, like it just, you know, it wasn't a dynamic enough story. It's like, okay, we landed here, we need to get from point A to point B, and that's it. Like, that's the entire movie.
Yeah. Which, you know, in the defense of the movie, that's not necessarily a bad storyline, but you need to kind of fill that with, they had some creative kind of problems, and then some creative problem solving kind of as a result of that. But I don't know. I'm sure a writer or a director could pick it apart better than I could, and really tell you why. There's always this moment. I've said it before. There's always this moment, maybe 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes into a movie, where I'm thinking, where it's either got me or it doesn't, you know?
Yeah.
And if it's got me, then I'm just along for the ride and I'm really enjoying myself. But if it hasn't pulled me in, I'm asking myself, like, why don't I enjoy this movie more now? Because it had all the ingredients: Adam Driver, dinosaurs. What more do you need?
Yeah, good CGI. Yeah.
Yeah, good CGI. Yeah. Really lush environment. But yeah, this one, yeah, didn't quite. It had some clever stuff into it. You could tell that the writers were the same writers as A Hidden Place, because there's just enough logic in their world that they put into it that it all kind of holds together. Like, if you think about it too much on either end, it starts to fall apart. But they know how to make like a cohesive world, you know?
Yeah.
And it has its own rules and stuff like that. But yeah, this 165 just goes kind of like, meh.
Yeah. That was meh.
Well, shopping for a car?
Yep, Carvana made financing a car as smooth as can be.
Oh, yeah?
I got pre-qualified instantly and had real terms personalized just for me.
Doesn't get much smoother than that.
Well, I got to browse thousands of car options on Carvana, all within my budget.
Doesn't get much smoother than that.
It does. I actually wanted a car that seemed out of my range, but I was able to add a cosigner and found my dream car.
It doesn't get much...
Oh, it gets smoother. It's getting delivered tomorrow.
Visit Carvana.com or download the app to get pre-qualified today.
Between aging and busy lifestyles, many women struggle with maintaining their physical and mental wellness. At Aquavita Concierge Healthcare Services for Women, we can help you revitalize your health and reclaim your life. We start from within by balancing your hormones, allowing your body to achieve and maintain desired weight goals. We also specialize in peptide therapies, regenerative medicine, sexual health, and aesthetics in our state-of-the-art facilities. Feel better, look better, live better at Aquavita. Visit aquavitality.com and begin your journey today.
Well, transitioning here, King Kong is not a dinosaur. He's obviously a very large ape, but he tends to exist on an island that has dinosaurs. And we've seen multiple films where people go to Skull Island and they have to, you know, survive the dinosaur assaults. And like, you know, obviously there was the Peter Jackson King Kong. There was King Kong Skull Island, which I remember you're not a fan of.
Yeah, not so much. Just that, I mean, honestly, there's just a few things in it that just really kind of bring it down for me. But I've already talked about those. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. But yeah, I like the Peter Jackson King Kong, even though Jack Black is the director in the movie, not the director of it. Peter Jackson is obviously,
right, yeah,
and it's
Jack
just a
Black.
weird, it's just a weird cast,
You've said that, yeah. You talked about this already. He's supposed to be this kind of like wily-eyed, kind of almost like what's his name? The crazy Orson Welles type character, right? He's a
Yeah.
maverick and he's a wild kind of risk taker kind of guy, and he has a good energy for that. But I just don't. It's so hard to see him as anything other than Jack Black.
Especially when in that time period, all he's done is comedies. Like maybe if he's done like a drama and he's like trying, like Jonah Hill, for example, like when Jonah Hill wanted to transition to more like dramatic roles, like it was really hard to do so because everyone saw him as like the fat guy, the funny fat guy. But then he started losing weight and doing more drama and more drama and more drama. And now I'd say he's kind of out of that bubble. But like at the time, you had Tenacious D, School of Rock, Nacho Libre, like like all of these roles that are like witty, fun, and like humorous roles, and then boom, director for King Kong. It's just I wish he did a little bit more serious, and then leading up, you had like Shallow Hal.
Shallow, yeah.
Yeah, it's like he didn't.
Yeah.
I don't think he like. I love Jack Black. He's I think he's an awesome actor and he does really good at what he does, except for his political shit. But regardless of that, it was just hard to get behind him,
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
because I think King Kong came out after Lord of the Rings. So
Yeah, it did. I think that might have been Peter Jackson's next big thing.
yeah, it was.
Or because he was like, "Oh, I've always wanted to do this." They're like, "You have all the money in the world now, Peter. What do you want to do?" He's like, "I want to do a remake of King Kong." Because
Yeah,
that was
and-
his inspiration for a lot of stop motion stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And everyone had huge high expectations for King Kong because like Lord of the Rings was an absolute success. Like it was it changed the history of filmmaking. And like so when the guy that's responsible for that, wants to make another movie that's like literally a classic, like King Kong is a cinematic classic. Like there was such high expectations and I was just like, Jack Black. Interesting. All right. Yeah, but no, but the rest of the movie's super entertaining. Like I think they ended up doing it regardless, pretty well. And like the combat sequences with like the dinosaurs. And I remember there's this one that like sticks with me. They have like that grizzly cook on the boat that they
Andy Serkis.
Yeah,
who also played King Kong in the he did the motion capture for Kong, in that movie. So when you see King Kong roaming around and fighting the T-Rexes and stuff on the island, that's Andy Serkis who did the motion capture for that.
Oh, really?
And he's played monkeys a lot in his careers because he did the Planet of the Apes films.
Yeah, it is Andy Serkis.
Yeah,
he goes out in such a terrible way.
I still get creeped out when I think about that, man.
Yeah. No, absolutely. He so like they fall into this pit and there's all these like parasite like worm things and like they're cutting them to shreds and all of a sudden like he gets his arm caught and then his other arm caught by like the mouths and then the one goes over his head and just like you see him like struggling and his brains are getting sucked out and it's
he's like gnarly. Screaming inside. It's like
it's a brutal scene. Yeah, but like I think King Kong in general, like that whole Skull Island they did it very well. I think
Kong is if you want to wrap it into this Dino Hunter, the title of this podcast episode today, King Kong is a dinosaur hunter because he fights 2 Tyrannosaurus Rexes in Peter Jackson's King Kong.
Oh yeah,
and then on Skull Island,
their jaws.
Yeah, and then he's like playing with them like in the original,
Yeah.
But yeah, and then Kong Skull Island, he's that guy. I guess he's mostly fighting the what do they call them? The skull crawlers.
Yeah,
whatever John C. Reilly says they are.
Yeah. It's a weird. Should have stuck to just dinos. Like they tried to get a little too creative on that.
Yeah.
But no, King Kong, I think deserves to make it on the list just from Kong Skull. Like the creatures on Skull Island, they're your classic dinosaurs like hunting the people. And I think you said it better than anyone. Yeah, technically King Kong is a dino hunter because he just sits there and murders them.
Yeah, he is a dino hunter. What do you got, Cam? What do you think?
I mean, one more movie, honorable mention here, because I'm not going to talk about it in depth. I just felt like throwing it on this list because I think it is absolutely hilarious. But Land of the Lost.
Oh my gosh, man.
Yeah, I know. Land of the Lost, is originally a TV show.
A
And it
cheesy
was
TV show. I used to watch it, man.
cheesy.
Super
Yeah,
cheesy.
super cheesy. And, obviously there's dinosaurs involved and whatnot, but they ended up remaking this into a movie with Will Ferrell and Danny McBride. And oh my God.
I never saw
remember.
it.
Oh, you never saw it?
No.
Please go see it. It is. I remember seeing this in the theater and just like quoting it for the next 2 years. Cause like it has some it's 100% a slapstick comedy. Like they
Yeah.
take, and there's little pieces of nostalgia going back into the TV show. If you watch a TV show, they have like little pieces of nostalgia in the movie. But all in all, it's just like a slapstick Will Ferrell comedy. And it is so funny. Like Danny McBride, there he owns like in the middle of the desert, like this what is it? It's just like I don't even know. It's like he tries inventing like his own amusement park kind of in a way, but it's just Danny running it. And like I just remember they're in the gift shop and he's like showing Will Ferrell and the female. I forgot who's the female in Land of the Lost. Let's see. Land of the Lost cast. Will Ferrell. Any second. Anna Friel. Anna Friel. Is that how you say it? Yeah. Anyways. So Anna Friel, Will Ferrell, and Danny McBride are like the main three. And like Danny McBride showing them the gift shop. And he shows them this mug. And it's literally just a pair of boobies on a mug. And he goes, now this is what I call the perfect woman. Big old pair of boobies, no head. Yeah, it's just really good. But yeah, obviously they're like running from this one T-Rex that like has it in for Will Ferrell because like it overhears him saying, he's like, just don't move. Like when they first encounter the Tyrannosaurus Rex, he's like, don't move. Tyrannosaurus Rex have the brain size of a walnut. They're not intelligent at all. And like somehow the Tyrannosaurus hears him and just only goes for Will Ferrell because he thinks he's just called him stupid, and he basically proves that he's like not stupid. But it's just really fun, and obviously there's dinosaurs, there's lizard people. It's just a really good slapstick comedy that's super cheesy, and I think just a lot of fun. So I had to throw it on there just for honorable mention here.
That's cool, man. I want to do an honorable mention for Turok Dinosaur Hunter, but I can't talk about it too much because I've never played the game. The only thing I remember is there was a Nintendo 64 version of Turok Dinosaur Hunter. It's one of those ideas. I don't know if it was a comic book or a story, but for me, it was one of those things where they keep trying to make it, and none of the games that they ever came up with for Turok Dinosaur Hunter ever amounted to anything. They were never very good. I just remember it was done in the style on Nintendo 64 of, kind of GoldenEye graphics. It's first person view. You're running through the jungle. And I just remember it was really easy to like fall off cliffs because there was a lot of jump and grab something or no guardrails. And he had like the cheesiest like death scream whenever he would fall. That's the one abiding members like this. Whoa! But it would fall to his death. But I can't talk about it. It's amazing because it's literally Turok Dinosaur Hunter, which is what we're talking about today. But can't say I have too much experience with it. If you all out there love Turok Dinosaur Hunter, please send us an email at pcfmpodcast@gmail.com or shoot us a DM on Instagram. But the one I really want to talk about is Horizon Zero Dawn. Horizon Zero Dawn is the one video game, came out in 2017. Really cool concept. It's one of those, it's in the future, but man has been reduced to a primitive level of civilization. And it's kind of one of those things where it's, spoilers, folks. If you haven't played the game, maybe skip ahead a couple minutes. But basically, mankind lives in primitive tribes. It's very, but there's dinosaurs around and metal, but they're all made of metal. Like they're all robots, but there's like velociraptors and there's horses and there's pterodactyls and T-Rexes and stuff, but they're all mechanized, and so humans hunt them, and they make body armor and weapons out of the metal pieces and stuff. So it's this kind of cool combination of primitive lifestyle, but modern or like futuristic technology. And you basically find out that humanity invented this program that was originally supposed to help machines, help clean up the environment. But then the machines got a virus in them where it made them turn aggressive to humans, and they started hunting down like all humans everywhere. And not only that, but they just started decimating all of nature and the environment. So they just started killing all life everywhere, and eventually got to the point where the only solution that they could come up with was to basically wait it out. So they created this whole system that would encapsulate human knowledge and like embryos and animals and plants and stuff, and they would hide it, these little bases all around the earth, so that thousands of years later, hopefully, after a solution was found, humanity could kind of rebuild itself. But things kind of went wrong. People came out of hiding, the sons and daughters, generations down, that were kind of raised in these underground schools, eventually got out, and then they created tribes, and then they kind of forgot their past, right? And as the main character, Aloy, you go around and you discover all this, but she's definitely a dinosaur hunter, and she's awesome. She's a great, she's a well-written character. And I know that, the strong female character is something that is hotly debated in today's society. And so she, I think, encapsulates it very well, because she tries and fails. She has to grow and learn from her abilities. And she has a very deep connection to the original person that was in charge of kind of the solution for mankind. It's a really well-made story. I haven't played the second one. They had a Horizon Forbidden West, and I have it, but I'm busy. I have things to do.
Yeah,
but,
super busy.
Yeah, super. Yeah, but it's great. The fighting system in there is it's cool. You really have to. The dinosaurs and the monsters in this world you can't just tank them. You just can't walk up to them and hack them to pieces, because they'll take you out. So you have to you can set traps like tripwires. You can have like little mines everywhere. You can like lure them into choke points, and you have bows and arrows and spears that you can throw at them with different tips. Some of them they have different pieces that some are vulnerable and some are not vulnerable. So if you can hit them in the vulnerable spots with, any kind of weakness they have, like some are susceptible to cold, some are susceptible to electricity, some are susceptible to fire. And you have to use these in combination with each other to take down like a giant T-Rex style or a pterodactyl and stuff. And so they do a good job of making you earn that victory. But once you do, you're like, it's very satisfying, because you really do a lot of sneaking in this game, because in the beginning you don't have a lot of these skills and abilities, and Aloy has to kind of build up her skills, RPG style, and level up. And then eventually by the end of the game, you got it all figured out. You can take these things down, no problem. So
nice, dude. Well, I'm glad you got that all out, because you seem to really enjoy this game.
It's so good. It was so good. I kicked myself because I haven't played the second one. Heard it was like not quite as good, but still pretty enjoyable. So I just got to get out there.
Okay, no problem. Well, I mean, before we transition to our fan question and our game here, because we're getting towards the end of our podcast, honorable mention here for a TV show that came out in 2002. It's called Dinotopia. Do you remember this one?
Too. I remember the book.
Yeah, so essentially you had like this family who is flying an aircraft, and they end up crash landing in the middle of nowhere, and it happens to be this island that they can't escape because there's all these either because of weather or because of creatures that inhabit the ocean. It's just they're stuck there. And it happens to be an island forgotten by time that has dinosaurs, and people live there, and they become one with dinosaurs. So like, dinosaurs can talk, or they can be completely like, ravagous creatures. And it only had one season because obviously it didn't do well. It was super cheesy and not
a hard
well
sell.
done. It was a very hard sell. But all I remember is this was like a core memory of mine, like growing up watching this. Sometimes you grow up and you remember specific shows that just like stick with you for some reason. This This was one of mine that like stuck with me. I just remember, there was this one sea monster that was in, like, they try to escape. There's like this one evil guy. All I remember is he tries to escape in like this submarine, and this like terrifying looking like sea dinosaur thing ends up completely decimating his sub. And it's like a little bit of a comic relief, because you're like, everybody wanted this guy to die anyways. So like that was nice. And for some reason that's like a core memory of mine. So I just had to put it there for honorable mention before we move on.
Well, let me do one honorable mention for me in the video game area, because I remember Dino Crisis in 1999.
Oh
That was
yeah.
very similar to the format of the Resident Evil games at the time. You're basically this operative. You and your buddies land on this island to investigate why it's kind of gotten dark. And you realize it's like a research facility where they were researching dinosaurs and increasing their intelligence. And so you got to run around and, uncover the mystery, find your lost comrades, and then get out alive, before the island explodes or whatever. But I just remember that being a fun gaming experience. Not quite to the level of the Resident Evil, but hey man, it's back then it was fun to run around and run from dinosaurs and find out ways to hunt them.
Yeah.
So.
Classic PlayStation, man.
Yep.
That's cool. I mean, this is a better idea than 65 in my opinion.
Yeah. I would love to see a modern day remake movie of Dino Crisis. I think they could get away with that. I think that there's got to be some people in it. All right, Hollywood, come on, let's do this.
You want to reboot something, or reboot Dino Crisis?
That's right.
Well, cool, man. Well, that's all we got about pop culture dinos. We have one fan question coming to us from Fibbergreen285 via Instagram. And just so you guys know, if you send us a message on Instagram, or which our Instagram is PCFM Podcast, or to our email, PCFMPodcast@gmail.com, you have the chance to get featured and us have Izzy and I answer your question on the podcast. We love reading your guys' questions.
Also, join our Patreon.
Yes.
We don't say it often enough, because that's where the real action happens. You get extra episodes, full-length episodes, extra episodes per month. And then our top tier subscribers, we do a movie every month where we watch together on our Discord. So if you like this stuff and you want more of it, that's definitely the place to be.
Absolutely. And Fibbergreen285 via Instagram wants to know, do you think you could win a hand-to-hand fight against a lion? I think there's an easy answer here. I want to say yes, but in my heart, I know that that's absolutely not.
You and I both know the answer to that. No.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm guessing this isn't your average lion. This isn't like some infirmed lion who is sick and also missing a paw. I mean, even then, I don't think I'd have that's like muscles and jaws, muscles and teeth. That's what a lion is.
Lions are apex predators.
Yes.
They're built to kill with no extras.
Yep.
Hand to hand, like if you gave me like a gun or maybe like a sword or an axe, I'd have a fighting chance,
Mm-hmm.
But hand to hand, my teeth aren't sharp.
Mm-hmm.
My nails aren't large and can cut flesh. Like that's a no-brainer. As much as I want to say yes, it's going to be a no for me, dog.
Actually, it's funny. We're speaking of short stories. I think in the same book that I read, A Sound of Thunder, it's like a collection of short stories. There was another one about an African warrior kind of in the turn of the century, turn of the Industrial Revolution, who was the only one in his village who had a gun. And it was up to him to go out and hunt this lion. And he's the one that had to do it because he had a gun. And back then it was like nobody had guns. Yeah. And then he ends up getting ambushed by the lion, and then he ends up killing it with his knife. And it's like this amazing thing. But then he realizes what he has to do is he kind of goes to the wound and he shoots the wound with the gun, and it kind of obliterates the knife markings, because he knows that he has to maintain his prestige as the only guy with the gun in the village. So if everybody thought they could like kill a lion with their knives, like he would lose honor. And so he basically lies, even though he did kill it with a knife. He's like, no, I must kill it. I must have thought to have killed it with a gun.
Yes. Only I can kill this lion using a gun. The rest of you, good luck. But
Pretty
Fibber
pro
Green,
Second Amendment series. Yeah. Or
yeah,
story. Yeah.
that's good. Yeah, get your guns, folks, because if you have a gun, you can kill a lion. Actually, really funny thing. Before we move on, moving on to our game. There used to be a rifle that is featured in Jurassic World, like Chris Pratt's character, his gun in Jurassic World is that repeater. It kind of looks like a Henry rifle, but it's a repeater rifle.
Mm-hmm.
And after that movie came out, if you looked up that rifle, it said under the calibers that what animals it could kill. They put a Tyrannosaurus Rex on there as their
awesome.
marketing, and I thought that was really clever.
It's great, man.
So that's just a side thing. But okay, we have a game to end this awesome podcast. And
Right.
Izzy, I am the game master.
All right.
Here's a little game called What's in a Name. I'm going to say the name of a fictional dinosaur, and you have to tell me what's it from. Games don't get any more straightforward than this, my friend.
Okay. So you give me the name of a dinosaur, I tell you where it's from.
Exactly.
All right.
Are you ready?
All right. There's a lot of dinosaurs out there. A lot of
dinosaurs. And I was reading over this, and it gets progressively harder. And harder.
No, Chris, why?
Okay.
Right.
So are you ready, my friend?
Let's do it.
Okay. Here we go. Round 1. No warm up. Littlefoot.
Littlefoot. Okay, this has got to be the Land Before Time. I think it's the Land Before Time. I think it's the name of the main character because he's like a kid dinosaur. They all talk to each other. It's like a kid's movie. It's animated, but his mother dies in the beginning, and it's super sad. She's a brontosaurus. Yeah, Littlefoot's the main character from Land Before Time.
Yeah, you got that right. That was an easy one. Talk about core memories. Land Before Time.
Yeah, core memory. Yeah.
There you go. Yep, Littlefoot is from Land Before Time. Moving on, Rex.
Oh man. It's the one where they sing, and it's like, it's like freaking. They have a whole what is it? We're Back, A Dinosaur's Tale, or something like that. I think it's Is that it? Is that We're Back, A Dinosaur's Tale, or Dinosaur Story?
No, I think you're not thinking outside the box enough. I'm telling you, these get harder and harder.
Oh no! For some people, that's a deep cut, but I give up, man.
Yeah, it's the toy dinosaur in Toy Story.
Oh, Rex, the toy dinosaur. Oh, it's so general too.
It's so general.
Rexes are there?
Yeah, there's probably a lot of Rexes, especially when we're talking about Tyrannosaurus, like toys.
Yeah.
But okay, this one should be pretty easy. Yoshi.
Oh, Yoshi, Super Mario World. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Super Mario Bros. Franchise. Easy. That was an easy one. Okay, now we're getting to places that I've never gone before. Earl Sinclair.
I mean, there was the Jim Henson-y live action television show called, I think it's called Dinosaurs, where you get the little kid, I'm the baby, I'm not the mama. Little pink. I think that Earl Sinclair, I think that was the father. He was it was basically just like people, but they were dinosaurs. And he had a regular job. And it was really cool because this was in the time of Alf and animatronics, what is it? Farscape type stuff where it was live action, but they were all people in suits doing the show.
Yeah. Barney style.
Yeah, totally.
Yep. You're absolutely correct. Earl Sinclair is the father from Dinosaur.
That show, side note with that show, it ends really sad. The way the show ends is a volcano explodes and it starts showering or falling ashes. And the last thing is they're well, we'll just hang out here until it stops ashing or whatever. And they look out the window and it's just raining ash. And it's just because that's how the dinosaurs supposedly die.
And they're all right, folks. Damn, that's pretty brutal. Talk about, and that was a kid's show, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's so funny, man.
That's terrible. But that's funny actually. Okay, moving on. Grimlock.
Oh, Grimlock, that's Transformers. That's the Dino Transformers where they're all different dinosaurs like Triceratops and I forget what Grimlock was. I don't know if he turned into a Tyrannosaurus Rex or not, but they're all idiots. They're all stupid. Me, Grimlock, but then they form an even bigger dinosaur. I forget the name of him, but yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah, Grimlock, Transformers. He was the leader of the Dinobots.
That's right. Yeah.
And let's see, what was he?
Dinobots.
Was he a Tyrannosaurus?
Tyrannosaurus
robot?
or like a Brontosaurus, maybe? I feel like he's like a Brontosaurus because he's a big dumb.
Oh yeah,
small
he's definitely a T-Rex. Yeah. Oh yeah, he's
Okay.
P-brain for sure. Okay, just to get some, for my knowledge, I need to look that up. Okay, you got 2 more here. Indominus Rex.
Well, the Indominus Rex, that was from Jurassic World. That's the one that Chris Pratt had to fight with all his little raptor buddies. But then they all turn on him because Indominus Rex apparently has the DNA of a velociraptor, so he can talk to the velociraptors, and they all turn on humanity. They all turn on his team. So yeah, Indominus Rex. I love it. They just got to keep super mega, super duper, ultra megasaur Rex.
Yeah, what's bigger than Indominus?
Nothing, supposedly. Well, they have the fish guy, the big ocean dinosaur that comes and grabs it. Oh, he does. He grabs Indominus Rex at the end of Jurassic World.
Yeah, well, Indominus means fierce/untamable. So whoever named that, fire that guy.
You're really setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. And finally here, my friend, you're doing great. This one, Alex.
Oh, man. Alex, huh? Oh, jeez.
Yeah, just regular old Alex.
Good old Alex. I mean, I guess you would have to be familiar with whatever this is, because Alex could encompass the names of a lot of dinosaurs. I mean, I already went the deep cut with We're Back, the animated movie.
I will give you a hit because it is like, to be fair, nobody would get this right. It is from a fighting game.
Oh, I mean, is that Primal Rage?
No, it's not Primal Rage.
Okay, all right. Primal Rage was a dino monster fighting game, but what is it? I give up.
Okay. Alex is from Tekken. He's like this velociraptor that has boxing gloves on.
Oh, yeah, now I remember Tekken. That's so funny. Oh, man, that was a good one, Chris. Fair play.
Yeah,
Chris.
fair play, Chris. Well, folks, first of all, good job, Izzy. You did better than I thought you'd do. I think you only missed like 1 or 2 of those. And they were like single syllable names for an entire universe of dinosaurs. So in my book, you did awesome.
Thanks, man. That was a good game. Thank you, Chris, for challenging my pop culture, giving me that validation of all those years being a latchkey kid watching way too much TV and movies. It's all paying off.
It's all paying off. Hell yeah. And this is the right place to show your skills here. Because anywhere else would just, think you're useless.
Exactly.
But anyways, folks, we hope you enjoyed this episode of the Pop Culture Field Manual podcast. Looking forward to bringing you another podcast next week. Thank you to our patrons. Thank you to our Instagram followers. And thank you to everyone who's made it to the end of this podcast. Izzy, unless you got anything else?
That's it for me, folks. Hope you enjoyed the episode. We'll catch you on the next one.
And with that, cue music.
Well, shopping for a car?
Yep, Carvana made financing a car as smooth as can be.
Oh, yeah?
I got pre-qualified instantly and had real terms personalized just for me.
Doesn't get much smoother than that.
Well, I got to browse thousands of car options on Carvana, all within my budget.
Doesn't get much smoother than that.
It does. I actually wanted a car that seemed out of my range, but I was able to add a cosigner and found my dream car.
It doesn't get much...
Oh, it gets smoother. It's getting delivered tomorrow.
Visit Carvana.com or download the app to get pre-qualified today.
Are you struggling to conceive? You have options, and at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group, we'll make sure you have the guidance and support you need. PREG is known for individualized fertility care that's unique to every patient. We take the time to provide a reassuring and empowering experience because we believe that you deserve nothing less. Let us help you on your journey to parenthood. Visit us at pregonline.com to learn more. Get the guidance and support you need at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group.